the silent strength that cannot be broken. There is a power that does not shout, that does not need to prove itself, yet it shapes the fate of those who possess it. This is the power of stillness. In a world obsessed with reaction, where every word demands a response and every challenge invites conflict, stillness has become rare, misunderstood, and often mistaken for weakness. But those who walk the path of awareness know the truth. Stillness is not weakness. It is the purest form of mastery. Imagine a great tree standing alone on a mountain peak. The winds roar, storms batter its branches, the seasons change without mercy. Yet the tree remains, its roots deep in the earth, unmoved by the chaos that surrounds it. This is the nature of true stillness. It does not avoid the storm. It exists within it, yet beyond its control. The ancient temples of the East taught this lesson not with words, but with practice. Young disciples would stand for hours in complete silence, their legs trembling, their bodies aching, yet they would not move. The lesson was simple. If you cannot be still in discomfort, you cannot be still in life. Stillness is not about the absence of difficulty. It is the refusal to be controlled by difficulty. There is an old story from the snowy monasteries of the north. A monk named Kazuo was once known for his short temper, easily provoked by even the smallest insult. But years of disciplined practice changed him. One winter, a group of bandits raided the monastery. They destroyed the temple gates, frightened the villagers, and finally approached Kazuo, demanding his submission. The leader of the bandits, armed with a sword, sneered, expecting fear. But Kazuo remained seated, eyes calm, his breath steady as the falling snow. The bandit shouted, "Why do you not defend yourself? Do you not care for your life?" Kazuo replied softly, "I do not defend illusions. My life is not the body you can wound, nor the pride you can insult. My life is here," he touched his chest, "and no blade can reach it." The bandit, unable to shake him, lowered his weapon. In that moment, the true strength of stillness revealed itself. The strength to remain unmoved when others provoke, to stay grounded when the world trembles, to observe chaos without becoming part of it. This is not an invitation to passivity. Stillness is not doing nothing. It is doing everything with intention, free from the chains of reaction. When you choose to remain still, you choose not to waste your energy proving your worth to those who do not understand your value. You choose to protect your peace from the noise of opinions, criticism, and distraction. Most people are exhausted, not because they work too hard, but because they bleed energy through constant reaction. Every insult, every disagreement, every moment of discomfort becomes a thief, stealing their strength, scattering their focus. But the wise guard their energy like a sacred flame. They do not let it burn wildly for the entertainment of others. Your attention is your greatest resource. Where it goes, your energy flows. Waste your attention on anger, and you become anger. Fixate on what is wrong, and the world will always seem broken. But direct your attention inward, hold your awareness steady, and life begins to reflect that same calm. Stillness trains the mind to act from wisdom, not impulse. It teaches the body to remain grounded in moments of tension. It sharpens the spirit to resist the urge for unnecessary battles. You do not need to respond to every provocation. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding. Some things deserve your silence more than your words. Imagine your mind like a pool of water. When it is disturbed, your reflection is distorted, and nothing is clear. But when the surface is still, you see everything as it truly is. The practice of stillness restores this clarity. True mastery is not measured by how loudly you speak, how aggressively you fight, or how often you win arguments. It is measured by your ability to remain present, focused, and rooted when everything around you demands that you lose control. There is a quiet authority that radiates from those who have mastered stillness. It is felt in their presence, in their gaze, in the unshakable calm they carry. The world cannot manipulate them. Their peace is not tied to approval. Their worth is not dependent on validation. To walk this path is to choose discipline over distraction, patience over pride, awareness over reaction. It is to understand that stillness is not passive. It is alive. It listens, observes, waits, and acts only when the moment requires. In this noisy world, filled with endless demands for attention, the rarest and most dangerous strength is stillness. It is the refusal to be controlled by external chaos. It is the quiet decision to own your energy. your reactions, your peace. And in mastering stillness, you become untouchable. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger than the storms you face. The quiet storm before the blessing, a journey into the collapse of the old self. There is a moment in life so disorienting, so quietly devastating, that most people mistake it for punishment. But what if I told you, the moment you feel like everything is crumbling is the exact moment life is preparing to give you something extraordinary? Most blessings do not arrive with applause. They come in silence. They come wrapped in loss, discomfort, and a haunting sense that the ground beneath your feet is no longer solid. Buddha Story warmly welcomes you to this reflection. What I am about to share is not just philosophy. It is the hidden truth of every transformation. It is the quiet, terrifying storm before your soul expands beyond recognition. Before the blessing arrives, there is almost always collapse. You lose the relationship that once defined you. You feel estranged from your job, your identity, even your reflection in the mirror. Friends drift away. Certainty evaporates, and you stand in the ruins wondering if life is breaking you apart. But here is what the ancient wisdom of the Buddha reveals. Nothing real is ever destroyed. What crumbles is the illusion. What disintegrates is the false self you have outgrown. Stay with me, and I will show you how this collapse is not your undoing, but your becoming. Many women, standing at the edge of their own unraveling, believe they are failing. But they are not failing. They are being stripped of what no longer serves them. The familiar identities that once brought validation, the perfect partner, the ambitious professional, the constant giver, begin to suffocate the soul that longs to breathe freely. One woman I met, Amelia, carried the weight of her corporate title like armor. To the world, she was accomplished, respected, unstoppable. But behind closed doors, her spirit withered. The boardrooms, the accolades, the relentless pursuit of external success had become chains disguised as achievement. For months, she ignored the whispers, the restless nights, the quiet dissatisfaction, the ache of disconnection. But the soul, once awakened, cannot be silenced forever. Her unraveling began with subtle betrayals, fatigue, anxiety, a sense that her life, so carefully constructed, no longer belonged to her. She clung to the illusion until one day, exhaustion brought her to her knees. And in that stillness, a truth emerged. She was not breaking down. She was breaking open. Amelia's story mirrors the journey of the Buddha himself. Siddhartha Gautama, before his enlightenment, stood in the palace of illusion, wealth, comfort, protection from suffering. But a single encounter with death, sickness, and aging shattered the fragile veneer. His internal storm began. He could have stayed, preserved the illusion. But his soul whispered of something greater, so he left. Not in rebellion, but in surrender to the unknown. This is the universal invitation hidden within every collapse, the courage to release what no longer fits, the willingness to walk into the unknown, stripped of titles, roles, and certainty. But let me tell you the uncomfortable truth. This process hurts. You will feel the ground shift. You will question your worth. You will grieve the relationships, the routines, the versions of yourself you must leave behind. Another woman, Elise, believed love meant sacrifice. She poured herself into a relationship that drained her spirit. Her worth became tied to being chosen, needed, validated. But love rooted in depletion is not love. It is dependency. When the relationship ended, Elise stood in the wreckage, lost and terrified. But as the days turned to silence, and the silence turned to reflection, she discovered a sacred truth. The collapse had cleared space for her to remember herself. In Buddhist tradition, this space, the void after the storm, is not emptiness. It is potential. The lotus does not bloom in pristine conditions. It rises from the mud, transformed by the decay beneath. Your discomfort, your unraveling, your quiet collapse, this is the mud, and from this mud, your true self begins to emerge. But hear me clearly. You cannot bypass this stage. You cannot force the blessing before the breakdown. The unraveling is necessary. The discomfort is your teacher. The silence is where the divine prepares you. Stay with me, because the second part of this journey reveals how solitude, embodiment, and sacred alignment become the soil where your greatest blessings grow. But first, I invite you to support Buddha Story by subscribing to this channel. Your presence fuels this space for reflection and truth. Every like, every comment, every shared moment helps this wisdom reach those standing in their own quiet storm. Now, for your reflection, a simple yet profound question. I want you to pause, breathe, and comment below with your answer. When life begins to unravel, what is your instinctive response? A. You cling tighter to what feels familiar, even if it no longer serves you. B. You breathe through the discomfort and trust that space is being made for something greater. Comment A or B below, and let your voice be part of this unfolding dialogue. Your storm is not your destruction, it is your preparation, and your blessing is closer than you think. Stay present. The journey continues.